Hello and welcome, beautiful soul, to yet another episode of Permission to Follow Your Inner GPS, your guided purpose soul path. And of course, we have another amazing guest for you today, Dawn C. Kahrs. I am your host, the Angel Lady Terry Marie, an intuitive empath coach, crystal goddess, and we're going to get going. So Dawn C. Kahrs is a mom, speaker, healing facilitator, spiritual conference wizard, health wellness coach, personal empowerment advocate, and a soul who loves to dance with the divine, play and inspire others with joy, passion, humor, and grace. Please help me welcome this beautiful lady, this beautiful soul. Hello and welcome, beautiful. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much, Terry, for having me.
You're very welcome. So please, let's just jump right in. And my daddy always said, you went right past diplomacy to blunt. And I went, yeah, and, it's just like, so please tell us a bit about your journey. And was this something you always knew you were going to or wanted to do?
Wow. Well, my journey is, as all souls, unfolding. I did know from a very early time as a young child that I wanted to help people. I wasn't sure exactly how I would be doing that. So it took me on a meandering road. I actually had a skiing accident, but it was a kind of a happy accident in that, I started experiencing low back pain and mid back pain and different types of pain. And my mom at the time brought me to a chiropractor. And that kind of started my journey of recognizing that healing really can come from the inside out, or as I see it now, connected, the outside in, inside out, it's all one. But it's a journey of coherence is really the one that I've been on. And so I started getting chiropractic care, and I like the idea of helping people heal naturally. I also was and am a musician. So I actually went to school for music performance and really considered that path an avenue as well as a avenue of, I guess, earning money. But whatever you call it, I mean, we all have so many gifts, and some of them were paid for directly in money, currency, and other ways. It's just a different kind of exchange. But at any rate, music is actually a part of the type of practice that I have, in that the practice that I have is related to tone and frequency and oscillation in the nervous system and in the spine, and helping to reset the nervous system and spine. So that's part of my work as a chiropractor. And then I'm branching off, and also know that I will be hosting more seminars and workshops and things in the future, and books. And so I'm in training, but but in for many years now. So
sounds like Spirit has loaded up your to-do list, and your plate is really full.
It's very full right now. I mentioned to you when we spoke a little bit earlier that I'm in the middle of building. I think I mentioned this. I'm building a building. So I'm building a wellness center, and we're literally yesterday, the walls started coming up on it. So we've done all the foundation, all the subflooring, and the all the magic that contractors do, and and those walls are coming up, and it's an astounding process to be involved with. And in the midst of that, so it's a healing arts wellness center where there will be yoga and oh my goodness, dance, massage therapy, counseling, extraordinary energy coherent chiropractic care. And yeah, I mean, nutrition, you name it, but those are some of the things that we're bringing in. And there's also going to be a nonprofit that we're partnering with to provide subsidized health and well-being care for people in the community that need a little bit of an assist in the financial respect.
So, thank you very much for bringing that up, because there's like, okay, now I know exactly where it is they want us to go with this.
Okay.
You have had an incredible journey to get to this point where you are opening up, and it's the walls are going up for this wellness center. So tell us about that journey, because there's no doubt in my mind, my subconscious or the conscious one, that there is at least one, if not many others, who are going to be viewing this at some point. They want to, wellness center, they want to do this, whether it's with. So how did you get from what you were doing to this point, and what kind of challenges? Don't have to name them all, but what was the biggest challenge from just the vision part, the visualization, to the manifesting of not just the land but the finances?
Oh my God.
So just share a little bit about that part of the journey, because this is going to inspire so many to say, you know what, Dawn can do it, I can do it, maybe whatever scale it is, but okay, the floor is yours, gorgeous.
Thank you. Wow. I will say that the journey has been, boy, step by step and leap by leap, and led from the weaver, this universal spirit, if you will, because I alone and myself could not do this.
Right.
So, tangibly, gosh, I mean, oh boy, I've got so much I want to say. I'll really try and summarize in that I had a period of time where I practiced in California, and I lived there. And then I had a very difficult period of my life where, the walls were coming down as opposed to up. And I was actually in an abusive relationship. Like, it was just, and I had to hit this point where I realized, wow, I've got to move forward from this place. And very, very long story short, I was guided to come home to Oregon, where I was raised. And that has been amazing and wonderful, fruitful adventure. And it's one that I really wanted to be home. So I'm so thrilled to be here. And in that process, there was a reclaiming of myself, reclaiming of my soul's purpose, reclaiming of the power that I had given away, that was really mine to give away, but I very slowly over a period of time started to give that away. And then I realized, wow, I've got to really reclaim this. I've got to reclaim it not only for myself, but for my son and my family and my family's lineage and the community and the world, because we all have this part to play. So I came home, and I've been practicing from 2010 to this point, 2018. And over this journey period, I really lived within my means, and, one step at a time, got an office, started growing that a little bit more, and gone through different points in time. And the point that's bringing us to the point of this wellness center is a little over a year ago. I really knew I could feel something was not quite right with the building that I was in, and I couldn't get a straight answer from the management. And until as I inquired more and more about the potential of getting a little bit larger space within that building, they said, look, this building is going to be torn down, and we don't have an exact timeline. They still don't have an exact timeline, but where it got to the point where I got a year notice.
Mm.
Okay. So I knew I needed to move on and find a different office space. Now, that was just the nitty gritty, like okay. But at the same time, like I could feel something was wanting to emerge, something wanted to be born that was a lot, that was beautiful and magnificent. So I started just, okay, I haven't owned anything other than my musical instrument and my car. Okay. But I thought, I've paid $100,000 in rents over all the years I've been practicing. And wouldn't it be amazing to actually be, paying toward having a property, like a mortgage rather than a rent? So I looked at a couple of buildings. I'd never called up a real estate person before. And I called them up and I looked at a couple places, and they just weren't at all there aren't very many places available that's commercial anyways. And I live in a town of 350 people. It's very okay. So most people think rural is 40,000 or 50,000 or something. No, this is tiny, but there are lots of strings of tiny. So there's 300, 700, if you go half an hour north, you get about 4,000 or 5,000. If you go half an hour south, you get a few other thousand. But
okay, just 1 second. I want our viewers to hear you. She lives in a very teeny tiny, less than 500 people town, and
yes.
she's doing this. Are y'all getting this? She's following her inner GPS. So no more excuses. Well, I live in the country. Okay, and then.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. I was I had to say that.
Thank you. Well, and that's such a, there are so many limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves and we buy into. And that's one, oh, well, I can't do this because there's too many people. Or, gosh, there's not enough people to have their spines checked. There's 500 and they're not all in the town in care with me yet. So come on. Of course I can practice in Wheeler.
Yes. Exactly. So
I looked at these two places, and they were 275,000 and not really what I was looking for. One was a building that was known to flood. And another one was a quarter of a really kind of new-ish building, but it just didn't have the right feel, and it was a lot of money for something that wasn't really what I wanted. And I mentioned it just at the right moment. You know how divine providence or spirit speaks? So finally I'm I got up. So I live 25 yards from my parents. Okay. I have frequent meals with them, and my son gets to spend a lot of time with grandma and grandpa, which is really cool, or Grammy and Papa, I should say. So I mentioned it to them, I looked at a couple places, and they basically just said, well, why don't you build here? And I'm my jaw dropped, because they said, we've just been waiting for you to ask. I'm what? So my parents have 15 acres that's waterfront property that is gorgeous along the riverfront. And I don't know if other people probably go through this process as we grow up. I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but I did turn 40 this year. So I'm feeling like I'm spreading my wings, and I've been trying to, through this process of 20s and 30s and now 40s, okay, watch, I can fly, I can do it, right? At the same time, we can't do it all ourselves. So mom and dad said, well, why don't you build it on the property? I'm whoa, okay. And so then I got to start looking at, if I was going to look at buying, why not create something that's really what we want? And so, and there, I mean, I don't know how many of the logistics you want to hear, but yeah, the basic long and short of how we're coming up with the money to do this is, we mortgaged the house that I'm living in, and we were hoping for $250,000, and we got 200. So
Okay.
it's, you know, it's a good start for a good part of the working capital. And frankly, right now I'm really on wings of spirit because I have got a GoFundMe account up. I've been applying to grants up the wazoo. So, and that's part of why I was saying my plate is pretty full, because we're doing grants. I've done some videos, and we've got this GoFundMe. I'm organizing a really awesome event this summer, and there have been really amazing gifts along the way. So some people, of course, have contributed monetarily, and we have a lot more room for that. But there's been some amazing gifts. Like I had a dear friend of mine offer to do this entire clearing. It was an energetic clearing on the whole land. She did it from distance. And I mean, I really it did a lot. It helped me clear and clean up a lot as well. And then I had another person that I just mentioned the project to at the right moment while we were dancing on the beach. So I do this thing called Beach Dance Oregon, and I shared it with the group, and she said, wow, I want to gift you with a geomancy. She's a general contractor who is also a geomancy expert. And so she did a whole analysis of our site and of my son and my, I don't know if it's called a bagua. Would you know?
Bagua for Feng Shui?
Yes.
Bagua,
right? So she did it for the wellness center, and we have now set these huge, I could get it in the other room, but these huge crystals, we've set them into the foundation of the building. So it's been blessed upon blessed. I mean, and Lemurian crystal sand and people's blessings from the community and from my practice that have written blessings, we poured it into the foundation. So it's really exciting.
You know, when we first connected, I had no idea that this is everything that you were, or not everything, but a portion of what you were doing. And here's one of the cool pieces, and I want y'all to hear this. So please stop whatever you're doing. Focus it just for the next 30 seconds in one spot, right here. Okay. When it's time and you take the step, other things, other gifts somehow will show up as long as you keep moving forward. Listen to the story. Rewind this or push the button back, whatever it is you have to do to re-listen to what she's telling us, what this beautiful soul, Dawn, is sharing. There's no way, well, there is a way she could have done it all by herself. However, knowing that angels and spirit, whatever her or whoever her guides are actually helping, and by taking the next step and talking to her mom and dad, just sharing what she'd been going through, opened up the door for them to say, we've been waiting for you. Now, is everyone going to be gifted land? Maybe not. Maybe yes. It's still going to show up for you, but you have to show up for it. And that's what she's doing. So what other, and she's also shared how she's managing all of these other things and still working with clients in a town of 350. Hello. I know this is your interview, but it's like they're telling me to just really focus in on these pieces because it's so key. Following your inner GPS. I mean, heavenly days. How much clearer can it get?
Yeah. and it's raw and it's vulnerable. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we can hold a vision
Mm-hmm.
and keep following that inner GPS, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's a faith and a trust in the process that happens, because, like, I don't know where that money is coming from. I have a GoFundMe right now. Our goal is $90,000. We have almost 5,000 in it. So it's gone from 0 to 5,000. There's still a wide gap, but I also, like, people have approached me for not a radio interview. We're speaking. And
Yes.
then there's an article that's going to be coming out in the local paper. And it's interesting because I thought it was going to come out like 6 weeks ago, and it's been paused. And I'm trusting that there's a reason for that
Mm-hmm.
pause.
Yep. Timing.
So,
The timing to have given the interview was perfect. And now it's going to appear or to be published at exactly the right time. For maximum benefit. And it's like, okay, guys, hello. And yet, look at what's already happened.
yes.
And it took you going from California back to Oregon to even set this in motion. Yes, it was 8 years ago. However, you had to do those other parts and pieces.
Absolutely.
So tell us at least one of the other parts that got you from, how did you have okay, one at a time, please. How did you figure out, or how did you dig deep into finding the courage and the strength to go from, okay, I'm in a town of 350, this is what I do, I know I'm supposed to be here, now what?
Do you mean in reference to building the wellness center, or just
you left California, went to Oregon, you found yourself back home, which you knew exactly where you were supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing in a town of 350.
Yes.
So it's like, now I'm here, so now what? Okay, guys, now what? How do I do this? How do I support myself and my son? Yes, there's a roof over my head, but how do I do the rest of it?
Right.
Because essentially you left a part of your life, was a choice, it was a decision, and you essentially started over.
Oh yeah, I left with a car full of things. I basically had to flee and file a restraining order. Okay. And then I had a custody battle for a while, and that was a big deal, like a huge deal. And then I needed to reestablish myself in Oregon and get my Oregon license, because I was licensed in California and not in Oregon. So, and I had a 20-month-old. So I had incredible support in that my mom and my dad were willing to let us just literally land in their house for a period of a few months, you know, which is, I don't know, humiliating, but also like so much gratitude, much gratitude. And actually, really, to get to know each other more as adults, our relationships have strengthened, and there's a lot more appreciation there. And I think that, I mean, on both parts. And I think that they kind of thought before they knew that I was just kind of like messing around or like screwing off or something, or like going off to Italy at my seminars, and they didn't know how hard I was working. And then they've actually got to see it, which is really kind of cool. And I'm also stepping into the place of, one does not have to get their sense of identity based upon how hard they work. They don't need to, like, a lot of times we feel like we get our sense of significance based upon like how hard we work, rather than like, okay, we can actually be in alignment with our soul's calling. And there's an energize and an energy richness that comes from being in alignment with it. And you may be physically tired at the end of the day because you have done a lot of things, but it's not about effort. It's actually about alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So how did I do this? Well, my, gosh, honestly, a lot of it was step by step, because I came up here, I had $300 to my name and a carload of things. And then soon after that, my car broke down and completely died, literally in the car lot. Like, they were fixing it. They said, oh, this will be fine, we'll fix it. And then I had to have it towed away from the
Even with that, Spirit got you from California back home to Oregon safely.
Yeah. Oh my God. There were so many angels around my car. It was like, so I mean, it was really, that's a whole podcast in and of itself, that journey. So there's a lot there. But what do I want to, there were little bits, step by step. It's like the daycare provider that I met. She's so loving and so kind. And in the very beginning, I'm like, look, I have only $300 and I've got to start a practice, and I know I can start earning money, but I need to have someone watch my child in order to be able to do that. And we worked out a trade for like 3 months. So there were like little notes of grace along the way that I could not have orchestrated myself, but they aligned to, and then I had a meeting, and they introduced me to the building that I've been in for the last 8 years. And the rent was actually really, really, so reasonable, like $300 a month for one room. And so I just started with that one room. But I started before that working with people out of my parents' TV room. Like, we just cleared the room out a little bit. We had one little room. I saw people one at a time, which is not usually my style unless it's the first 3 visits. And, I started, growing and growing, and then moved up to the one room. And then after 1.5 years, I included another room, and, just been a lot of logistical things, but also a lot of guidance and being willing to listen to the guidance.
It's so important, because people are seeing you now who may not have seen you before or connected the pieces, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, look at Dawn. She's making a bill, and all they see is the now. Right. They don't understand that the overnight success took a while and took a lot of different steps. And it's like, well, I want my life to be like hers. Why am I not there? Well, what steps have you or have you not taken to help get you where you need to be? And it doesn't always have to be, with some of the same circumstances that you started with. It's just, where are you? What do you get to let go of so you can bring something else in? Because when our hands are full, and I like to say crystals, I like crystals. When your hands are full and, it's overloaded, and you see a new sparkly thing, you've got to put something else down before you can pick it up.
Absolutely.
And that's what you did in a series of different ways. You started off at home, in a room, in your parents' home. Does that mean that someone ever has to move out of that? No. But start. And that's and look at where you are. Did you know 8 years ago you were going to have your own building? Probably would have freaked you out.
Even a little over 1 year ago, it would have been like, really? I dreamed of it. I dreamed of it when I was a student in chiropractic school 18 years ago, right? I had drawn like this. I'd had this dream of a building that overlooked the ocean or the water, and but yeah, I needed to go on the journey that I'm still on. And I think part of that journey is also, I mean, I've met some amazing teachers and some people that have helped me rewire and rethink
Mhm.
things differently. You know, I don't know. I mean, there are people have different access to resources.
Mhm.
Okay. And some people are really born with a lot of resources that they have access to, whereas others may have been, you know, I know of a number of people that are now inspiring motivational speakers that have been homeless, right?
Mhm.
And I would have been homeless had my parents not opened the door when I landed there, right?
Exactly.
And what am I trying to say? I God, I'm okay. I'm hearing that I need to say thoughts bind energy,
Okay.
and our energy level influences the thoughts that we can have.
Right.
So regardless of what physical, tangible things, let's say we have over here, whether it's things or whether it's money or resources, all those things, like we've got to somehow elevate our energy level. And that is like turning the dial on one of the old-fashioned radios, you know, the
Mhm.
kind that has the dial, like you and I remember, okay? So we have to get a different channel. And that channel can be one that we can start to hear available resources and ideas for how money and resources can flow to us in
Mhm.
unexpected ways. You know, and we'll be guided to teachers, we guided to the, you know, so, and then we listen to those guidances. And I don't know, I mean, I believe that there are enough resources on the planet to where there is no reason that anyone lives in poverty. I
I
believe.
agree. I do too.
And there are, you know, part of the reason I'm a city councilor too. Part of the reason I decided to get into politics this last year is I really believe that we have to participate, and we can start to make decisions which can affect and help lift humanity. But we have to participate if we want to do that. So, I mean, there's so many ways to participate. You don't have to get in politics, but you know, if you're so moved, you know, like I'm like, okay, I'm super busy. I've been on school boards before that have taken 10 plus hours of my time per week. And that was like way over the top. And then having a practice and a mom and all those things. But I feel like my little part I can do as even a city councilor, you know, I can do a little part there to help make decisions for our town, to help people in our town. But it goes beyond the town, because everybody, you know, everybody's part of the fabric of humanity, and we're all connected.
We could go on for another while.
Yes.
So please, would you consider coming back, you know, after a few more of the walls and maybe the ceiling and the windows are in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could, now that we've got our phone thing working out, or our phone computer, set one up and I can show you.
Excellent. So in the meantime, beautiful lady, please tell our viewers how they can find you.
Okay. My website is gracefulwaveschiropractic.com. It will in the future be Graceful Waves Wellness, but we'll keep a link. So either one you type in. So Graceful, GRACEFULWAVES, like ocean waves, gracefulwaveschiropractic.com. I have a YouTube channel. So I'm not sure if it's /Dawn C. Kahrs, but if you Google my name and YouTube, you can find me there. I have a few videos from 5 years ago that have a lot of hits. So and then starting to put out some more. We'll be putting more out, and have started putting some out recently. So,
Excellent.
yeah, we're on Facebook as well. So Facebook.com /Graceful Waves. that's a great way to stay connected with us.
Excellent. So that on Facebook, it's Graceful Waves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the website, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful souls, is gracefulwaveschiropractic.com.
Uh-huh. And Terry, if you'd like to know more about the subsidized health and wellness, we didn't talk about that, but we're creating a program, and the intention is to fund it for the next 5+ years. And that's part of this $90,000 GoFundMe that I mentioned. So the GoFundMe is in reality, the funds will be used to complete the building so that we have the physical structure to provide the care from. However, I'm pledging to match every dollar that comes into that GoFundMe by providing care back to the community in the form of subsidized health and well-being. And that's through the nonprofit clickforhealth.org. And so you can go to clickforhealth.org, or you can read about and see our blueprints, our designs, our pictures, and stay in touch with us during the process of that by going to our GoFundMe link. And that's gofundme.com/project-liberation. And I can comment on that and maybe put a couple of links.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing all of this. It is definitely following your inner GPS. Absolutely.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome. Beautiful soul, thank you for joining us. Please do pop by and say hello in the comments, what it is that you felt really spoke to you, maybe some encouragement, some confirmation, maybe a message came through for you while we were chitter-chattering away here. And also, please take a moment to visit us at angeldreamteam.com. Tap on the link, Living Spirit and Wellness Global Directory. You just might find the right consultant, coach, graphic designer, reader, seer. I'm there, and I'm inviting Dawn C. Kahrs to join us as well, because we're developing something that is close to what I consider or will be a Yelp style, so one-stop shop of spiritual healers, consultants, naturopathic folks, everything. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back again very soon. Bye-bye for now, beautiful soul.
Thank you.
You're welcome.